Sounds delightful.
Yeah.
Sounds delightful. How was your day, Ryan?
My day was pretty good.
Great.
It was a pretty quiet day at work, and I've just moved home. So I was just
Yes.
doing the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're there in your new home.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Feeling settled yet?
I have actually. It does feel
Yeah.
like home, but I don't think I'll feel completely settled until I unpack everything.
Sure.
So I keep telling myself this is the last Pomodoro of unpacking to be done, but it just keeps adding on.
Yeah.
Oh, you know Hofstadter's law, no?
Sorry.
You know Hofstadter's law.
Starter's law.
Hofstadter's law. No matter
Oh.
no matter how long you plan on something taking, it takes even longer than that. Even accounting for Hofstadter's law. That's all.
Well, certainly moving house. Last time me and my wife moved, our landlord there told us spread it over 2 days. He's a landlord, right? So he sees a lot of people come in and go in. He says everyone who tries to do it in one day just wrecks themselves. Well, we got to about 4 p.m. and we were thinking we could do this.
Yeah.
So we went ahead and then cut to around midnight. We just flopped our mattress over on the floor, collapsed on it, and we were thinking, yeah, we probably should have spread it over 2 days. But hey, we got it done. I was able to drop the big rental van back early. Did you hire a removal firm or?
No.
Okay, you got a large vehicle.
No, I got a 6-person taxi.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Traveling light.
Yeah. I thought I was traveling light now, but it's still a lot of stuff. But there's still half my stuff still in storage.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I need to eliminate a lot of that too. Yeah.
Maybe just leave it there. I wonder what do they do if someone stops paying for the storage? Will they sell the stuff eventually?
I have no idea.
Interesting way to get rid of a load of stuff, right?
Yeah.
How about you, Eric? How was your day?
Oh, it's been good. I ordered a bunch of stuff from stores online to start a seltzer business.
Oh, say again, please.
I ordered a bunch of products online to start a seltzer business with a friend.
The 50% of what I'm hearing sounds very interesting, but it's I don't know if it's my line or your line or the servers, but I'm getting a bit of a garbled.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, not quite getting the whole
maybe
message.
it's the headphones. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that does sound better.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to start a seltzer business with a friend.
A seltzer business?
Yeah.
What's seltzer?
It's the latest beverage trend. It's like a 5% full non-sugar thing, sparkling water.
Great. Okay, so you're hopping on a trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since
fantastic.
I live. So
Okay.
I think it's good to start something like this.
Sounds very exciting.
And what are the ingredients in the seltzer? Sparkling water and?
It's sugar water, which you ferment with yeast, and that creates the alcohol and also the bubbling.
Interesting.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah.
So there's a demand for this already, and you're kind of hopping on. Yeah, but it sounds like you're in early.
Don't you have it in the UK, like Truly or White Claw?
Never heard of it.
In the US, it's a big thing. Some people have already started trying to copy it here, but they use they artificially carbonated and just put some rum in it because we're a rum producing country. But it tastes like rum, and the other ones have a really mild. Yeah, but enough about that.
Sure. Well, hey, sounds exciting, and best of luck. Now, Ryan, you don't know too much about these calls. Eric Ryan found me on Reddit, and we had a wonderful conversation I think it was maybe a week ago now, Ryan, correct?
It was,
yeah. And Ryan had heard of Dhammarato as well. And so I decided, well, we need to get Ryan in on these calls too. So, Eric, I think you've spoken with Dhammarato for some time. Is that right? Yeah.
Twice.
Fantastic. Great.
On the Guru Viking podcast, and from then I channel.
Yeah. The Guru Viking podcast is wonderful. I think Steve's doing some fantastic work bringing teachers together to have those conversations. Yeah. Really important work. Mm-hmm. And so, Ryan, we've just set up these group calls, which happen weekly. There's one for the US Sangha and one for the UK Sangha. And we just come hang out because it's a great thing to hang out with other folks who are on the path. And one of the things that we were talking about a lot last week, wasn't it, Eric, was it kind of normalizes being on the path day to day when we feel we can hang out with friends as well, as opposed to it being our dirty little secret. And so that's what it is. So there's no agenda on these calls. We can just come together and hang out and talk shit and have a giggle.
I was wondering, Eric, if we could see more of your handsome face.
What?
We're only able to see. Brilliant. Yeah.
Looks like wonderful surroundings there as well, Eric.
Oh, thanks.
I'm seeing some bright sunshine coming through that arch there. Oh, yeah. Goodness, where in the world is this?
Nicaragua.
It's
in north from Costa
Rica. Okay.
Were you inspired by the 4-hour work week?
Excuse me?
Were you inspired by the 4-hour work week?
What about the work week? I'm sorry.
The 4-hour work week. It's a book by Tim Ferriss.
I'm blessed because I get to manage this big house, and I just have to cook, clean, and I get my grub.
Amazing.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering. If you were inspired by the book, The 4-Hour Work Week.
That book got inspired by me.
Very good.
Nice one.
So you were there already, huh, Eric?
That's what. I'm sorry.
No, we're chatting at you and trying to eat your dinner.
From Dhammara's discourses, he says you don't have to work any day in your life. You just have to enjoy it. And I was like, hey, I want some of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a fantastic lifestyle. So is this a guest house?
It used to be my house. Then in 2009, my parents made it into a hotel. They built upon it. And since the pandemic, we had to shut down. And we rent rooms monthly. Okay. But it's a good arrangement because we almost don't need to it's less work. And you also get to know better the people that live here, and it's like like a community.
Right. So you're able to rent the rooms out as long as it's on at least a semi-permanent basis. Is that it?
Yeah, we don't do contracts because it's like friends of friends.
Cool.
What do you do?
I teach drums by day.
Oh yeah, you were talking about it last time.
Yeah. Yeah, and occasionally I'll go and perform. That's my jam. Actually, Ryan, I've been curious about what you do for work.
I'm a consultant psychiatrist.
Ah, very interesting. Very interesting. So I just went to pick my wife up from her first job at a rehabilitation center where she's working closely with a psychiatrist.
Okay, yeah,
So similar worlds.
yeah.
Yeah. Whereabouts are you working?
I'm working in Cheltenham.
Yes, I remember we said it was Cheltenham, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you doing private healthcare or are you with the NHS?
I'm with the NHS.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm working locum for the NHS.
Okay. Locum. Remind me
Locum
what that means.
as in freelance.
Great. Okay. So do you get a bit more flexibility?
A bit more flexibility and twice the pay. So I'm like, yeah, I don't mind that at all.
Sounds good to me, brother. Sounds good to me. So I imagine you trained then. I imagine you went through some kind of medical school.
Yeah, I went to medical school in India,
Okay.
and I did my here in the UK. I was in Manchester for a few years,
Hmm.
and then I did some world traveling and traveling all over the place after that.
Great.
And then for the last 5 years, I was in London, and the last
Hmm.
2 years, I've been in Cheltenham.
Great. A little bit slower pace of life than London, huh?
It's amazing, man. I went yesterday to London. I couldn't get the fuck out of there quick enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I did 6 months and I was shocked. It's quite extraordinary.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just I've been there 2 maybe 3 times. And every time I've been there, I don't even want to stay overnight. I just want to get in and get out as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And I was a hardcore London person.
Oh
It
yeah.
really grew on me. I
Uh-huh.
enjoyed it. I loved the lifestyle. I was really enjoying myself. But
Yeah.
once you go to a place that's more quiet, more laid back, and more peaceful,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, especially as Dharma practice kind of ramps up some momentum, right? We tend to want a bit more space.
yeah.
Mm.
So, and also it's so much more headspace, so much more time, so much more peaceful. People are nicer, patients
Yeah.
are nicer.
Yeah. Yeah.
While London is just it got a bit too much.
Yeah, I imagine the hospitals there are crazy.
Yeah. So
Mm. What part of India are you from, Ryan?
South India, Bangalore.
Bangalore. Okay.
Yeah.
My wife's from Kolkata.
Okay. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She came over here to study neuropsychology.
Girls from Kolkata are hot, and they're pretty hot. They have that something to
She
them.
she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yes. And and wonderful in all of the other ways as well.
Yeah.
I'm a very lucky boy. Now
I
she came to study back in 2019. She'll hear me talking about her from the other room. And she's not been able to visit home, of course.
okay, yeah.
So hey Parker.
Hey there, is my mic working?
Yeah, it's working. How you
Hey
doing?
Danny, I'm doing
Hey,
well. How are you?
great. Good to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
This is my friend Ryan. Ryan, meet Parker.
Hi,
Hey
Parker.
Ryan.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, nice to meet you.
Nice to
We're
meet you too, right?
we're just talking about India.
Oh,
Ryan grew
interesting.
up in Bangalore, and I think you've met Debbie, haven't you, Parker? My wife.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So she grew up in Kolkata, and we're just talking about how she's not been home since arriving in the UK. And I've probably mentioned before how I've yet to meet my in-laws, which is an interesting arrangement.
Yeah.
So the most intimate interaction I've had with my in-laws is what we're doing right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. How's your week been?
It's been really good.
Good. Great. Tell us more.
Let's see. Um, in terms of the practice, one thought I had is, or one thing I've been, my mind has been thinking about is, and we kind of talked about this last call too, is the difference between like some of the precepts and even some of Dhammarado's teaching. They were at first adopted as like rites, rules, and rituals in terms of like I should be doing this. There's not a example coming to mind, or like lying and stealing is, or like lying and harsh speech. That's been an interesting thing in terms of some people, like parents, they grow up in like a one up, one down position with you. So being able to share things with them without coming off as like a like still maintaining that one up, one down position, because that's kind of the format they're in. But I guess I originally posed this in like the way of precepts and not. And this has been, I've been getting a lot better at this. But originally, and this was one of the first talks I had with Dhammarato. There's kind of this idea in the West that you have to be telling the truth no matter what.
And yet so few do.
Exactly. But you can't lie, and I'm sure that has like Christian basis in the culture.
Because the big guy's watching.
Exactly. But not lying gets you in some drama or trouble if you just say things without any regard to other people's feelings or worldviews. So, and I think this is where the idea of harsh speech comes in, where you harsh speech and friendship, where you prioritize friendship over the truth.
Yeah.
When speaking
But
to someone.
there's also a balance in that, because if you like assume that you're interpreting others people's feelings or positions, then you may be acting condescendingly, unknowingly. Like
you could be.
Like if you're in a position of power and you, in simple terms, oh, this person is weaker than me, I'll be considerate. And some people might find that, oh, hey, why is he not treating me with the respect? Why don't I deserve his honesty?
What do you think about that, Dan? Is it friendship or the truth?
Oh, lots of identities present in the little picture that you just painted there, Eric, right? You can hear that. You can hear how many selves are going on if we're in that mode. Right? Loads of identity. We're creating a strong identity for ourselves and for the other person. And then there's all of this interplay going on between the two, and it's probably all shifting rapidly. There's a lot of skill that can be applied in my experience, and Parker, I want to make sure that you felt done before I go
you
into
can
this.
go ahead.
You did?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If we go ahead and start dropping truth bombs on people, they're likely to just run in the opposite direction. Have you guys seen the wonderful mural on the side of the spiritual library at Wat Suan Mok? There's this incredible mural on the side of this large building that features a large seated figure handing out eyes. And this figure represents the teacher. The eyes, of course, are the Dhamma. In the top right of this mural, the crowd is seen running in the opposite direction. One person is seen kneeling, taking an eye. Another is seen fitting the eye onto his head, but facing in the opposite direction. And this represents confusion. The confusion that comes with seeing things differently. And there's one more figure down in the bottom who has the eye fitted, and he's facing the teacher in gratitude. And so the teacher here is shown handing out eyes, but not throwing them at people.
It's important.
Yeah. So we hand them out. We don't, well, I suppose occasionally we might go on a bit of a crusade on Reddit, but we don't spend a lot of time trying to interrupt people's day with the Dhamma. And those crusades actually are taking place on Dharma subreddits. So we're choosing our battleground, so to speak. I think that, Mohammed, it's a matter of skill. It's in a conversation with someone where you see an opportunity to share some truth. I think we have to ask ourselves what's most useful, what's most beneficial here. Hey, Mohammed, good to see you. What's most useful here? Oh, your mic's off, Mohammed.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
I thought it was getting interesting a little bit, so.
Yeah, it sure is. This is a really interesting topic. Yeah. Did you have something to say?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the sutta when the Buddha was asked by a warrior, professional warrior, what happens, for a warrior, and he didn't answer the first time and the second time. Only when he was asked the third time, he answered, and he told him that, the answer was unpleasant. And, the truth was, this his profession. That's why I didn't talk about it. But he didn't lie also. This is very
Right.
important. We should not lie.
I'm
We should not tell
unfamiliar
him,
with that.
okay, white lie or whatever, it will make him feel good, but it's still a lie. It's still not the truth.
Yeah, and there are some really interesting ways that you can avoid telling the truth whilst avoiding telling a lie. So you can get very skillful with your speech, right? Parker's nodding along. Debbie's laughing. We've all done it, right? Where we're not dropping the truth bomb and we're not lying either.
I did 12 hours of it.
Deb's done 12 hours of it today.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing about the truth, it really doesn't hurt. Well, when we face it, it can hurt, but if it hurts, there is judgment. There is a mind that judges things in terms of good and bad. There is a mind that doesn't like the truth. That's why it gets hurt. It gets offended. But the truth in itself, it's not good. It's not bad. It's just the truth.
Right.
I think we should stick to it no matter what. I mean, at least for me, I just want to stick to the truth. This is very big rule for me. It keeps me on the path. If I don't keep on the truth, I feel like I'm lost.
It's an admirable position, and no doubt. Well, no doubt, it's likely, we'll say, that you'll run into some challenging situations if your practice is, I'm gonna drop those truth bombs. I don't care who's coming at me. I don't care whether they're ready for it. I don't care if they want to hear it. They're getting the truth. And here's the deal, right? Is you're probably aware, Mohammed, even if they get upset in the moment, they might thank you in 20 years' time.
At least I didn't lie.
Yeah.
confuse them and take advantage of it, but I
Right.
did not.
And great.
It's a noble thing to do.
Yeah, great for you to your position, right? Is you want to tell the truth, and that's your practice, and that keeps you on the path. Right. Yes, Eric.
But I think there's more to disentangle there because, I mean, there is a lot of truth in the world. Let's say, for example, that I'm talking to you and we have a disagreement. And it's true that I'm sitting and that I'm breathing, but I'm not going to suddenly say, I'm sitting, I'm breathing, this is the floor, we are in this country, and blah, blah, blah. So to me, it's important that we ask ourselves, why do I feel that I need to share this particular thing? And why is this important to me? And it could be important for my personal process or for the other person's process. But sometimes if we don't like ask ourselves that, we may be falling into like impulsiveness.
And also I've got this thing about unsolicited advice. Is if someone asks for advice, then fair enough. And even if they ask for advice, it should be done with a measure of kindness. But also it makes no sense just because someone's fat, I can't tell them, listen, you're a huge lump of lard and you're going to get cardiovascular disease. And I'm here, I'm saving your life. You need to lose 100 pounds. Or even if they're asking for advice, all I have to do is do it with kindness. I can't say you have no social skills and you say this thing, you blurt stuff out without thinking, just because you want to be honest and blah blah blah. No, it's just yeah.
That's an interesting example to use the physical plane, right? We all know that someone who's dangerously overweight is in trouble, and yet to accost this person and tell them all about it.
Yeah, I think
just gonna upset.
Comes to right speech. This thing comes to right speech. I mean, why would you talk about that? Is it beneficial or not? And it's not about truth. Really, it's more about speech.
So we could talk about right speech as the compass here, right? And right speech would include kindness.
So the content and the presentation, both.
Content and presentation, both. How do you mean?
So you may choose to tell the truth to someone, but it has to be based on a decision on whether that truth is going to do more harm than good, first. And second, how you present it, right? So you can be really compassionate, like many of you mentioned, be compassionate about it, or be really rude to them. And that again comes down to the cost benefit analysis. If you are really rude, you can potentially get them depressed. And the person who's already overweight can go back binge eating because you got them depressed. So you have to be really kind. And sometimes ignorance is bliss. We can't ignore that as well. So the better you are making, the better you are at making that decision, the better you're going to be. The more helpful you're going to be to yourself and others.
Yes. Yeah. So it's skillful means all the way, and what wonderful practice for us all.
Yeah.
To be skillful in moments.
Yeah, I've also learned about, because it takes the extra effort, because I can just blurt something out. But if I take the extra effort and present it, I can say almost anything to anybody, and they will take it in a healthy way.
I do agree.
Hopefully, but
hopefully.
Well, there's always that 0.1% of randomness, right? Where the person can misinterpret you, maybe due to various reasons. They can be irritable or whatever. But we can always make sure that we are 99% sure that it's not going to do harm.
We can do our best. Hey, Jeff.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Jeff.
Great. Good to see you again, brother.
Nice seeing you, brother.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Mother across the sea.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Still here. Still here. So we're talking about being skillful in situations in which you can see that someone might benefit from some truth.
Right.
And then balancing that with right speech. And net benefiting everyone. We hope.
Sounds productive.
Oh yeah. So Jeff, you've not met Ryan before. Ryan and I met on Reddit, and so I promptly invited him to join our wonderful little Sangha.
Hi, Ryan. Nice meeting you.
Hi, Jeff. I love your eyes and your nose. Hey.
All you see is my eyes and nose.
There you go. Even better, much better. Yeah.
There we go.
So
I'm not
Debbie,
sure the fellow in the corner there with the bottom left-hand corner, at least on my screen.
oh, I think we're probably all in different corners for one another.
We are.
That's how it tends to go. Yeah.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
So Jeff, you wouldn't. I don't think you saw Mohammed's face last week, but he was joining us on the audio conversation.
Ah, very good.
Yeah, hello,
Yes. Yeah, I remember. Oh, okay. Hi, Mohammed. How are you?
doing good. Hope you're doing good. too.
So Debbie is fresh from her first real shift at her new job. She's been doing training for just over a week, and then today she did 12-hour shift.
Yeah.
And she's still here joining in.
Yeah. I could actually benefit from a refreshing course on dhamma.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I feel like my anxiety spikes and my arousal level is at peak.
Oh
So
wow.
I can use dhamma to calm down. So
Okay.
thank you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Thank you all. It's really nice to meet you. I'm seeing so many of you for the first time. Majority. I think I only met Parker in our last call.
Jeff was here last week.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Eric and Mohammed both, I think, were listening in last week.
Ah,
Maybe joining in a little.
great to have you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You're enjoying the Dharma talk so far?
Sure.
Yeah, good.
Ryan is from Bangalore.
Are you?
I am. Yeah.
I'm from Kolkata. Yay!
Yeah.
It's.
I was
Go-
speaking to Dan, and I was telling him that girls from Calcutta are hot, and he's saying, "Yeah, my wife is hot." I went to Calcutta when I was 17 or 18.
Really? Okay.
And I saw the girls, they were drop dead gorgeous, and they'd look me right in the eye and they'd say, "Hey, big boy, do you have what it takes?" And I was like, no.
It's the bong effect.
Yeah.
Unintended.
So yes, folks from West Bengal, isn't it?
Mhm.
Are colloquially known as bong.
So Bengalis, yeah, bong.
Bengalis.
I call bong.
And all of my favorite dishes that Debbie cooks are bong dishes.
Yay!
So I'm very, very much anticipating a visit.
Okay, let's get back to Dharma talk.
Hey, Indian food is Dharma.
Food can be therapeutic, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Do you guys have your comfort food? Something that you feel like calms you down, makes you feel good? Anyone?
I've learned that it's not healthy, because sometimes we can get, this is what I realize, is that I can get into spirals. I can avoid doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I can get into comfort food. The comfort food makes me feel worse, and that goes round in a spiral, when actually it's much better to eat clean, eat healthy, exercise or meditate, and have that baseline foundation, so I can function at my best instead of feeling groggy and drowsy and anxious and stressed because of junk food. Which
Yeah.
tastes amazing though, which tastes amazing.
Right? That's so weird. Every tasty dish is unbelievably unhealthy, which is such a almost.
I think there is a correlation between,
Yeah.
right?
Ooh, look at you being all sciencey, huh?
I used the word correlation.
Yeah.
When your wife is impressed.
Can you spell
What?
it?
What's that, Jeff? Could I spell it?
Spell it.
Maybe tomorrow morning.
Not sure if I can spell it either, actually.
Yeah.
And I have a master's degree, so.
No, I'm all
okay.
right. I'm all right with spellings. I generally did okay with language in school. I took to that pretty naturally. So
Yeah,
I think if I tried really hard, I might be able to spell correlation. Ryan is a consultant psychiatrist for the NHS.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's so cool. Amazing. So yeah, psychiatrists and psychologists work really well together, because what we lack is that rigorous training in medicine, right? And we train like loads and loads in psychology. So when we work together, the
You got all
service
bases
users,
covered.
yeah. I think that's what NHS is trying to do, get that multidisciplinary team going. Isn't it, Ryan? Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes you get married to psychologists. I mean, I'm talking about me. My ex-wife was a psychologist. My ex-girlfriend was a psychologist.
And then you're psychoanalyzing each other, right?
Not really. No. I don't think once you're in a relationship, or you don't psychoanalyze each other. No, I mean work is work, and
Yeah.
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. It's all about balance, whether work-life balance or balancing your diet and working, right effort. It's all about balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Balance.
Yeah, I like balance.
I've got this theory. That's the OMG sweet spot. It's the sweet spot. It's the sweet spot between moderation and guilt.
Yeah. Right.
And not doing too much that it becomes complete overwhelm. So that's the thing between overwhelm, moderation, and guilt.
That is a good one. Yeah. If we can be in our attempt to put the right effort, we can almost go way towards too much towards the other extreme. We are like almost pushing ourselves to be happy, which doesn't work.
Well, there's a very famous sutta about this.
Really? Tell us.
Yeah. Mohammed, are you familiar with this one?
You have to tell it.
I'm following you.
Can you guess what sutta I'm about to quote from?
No, actually,
It's a great teaching on right effort. There's a monk who's practicing walking meditation. I feel like I've told this story very recently. I don't know if it was on our call last week, but stop me, guys, if you've heard this story in the past 7 days. There's a monk who's practicing walking meditation, and the soles of his feet are bleeding.
Okay.
You know the one, Mohammed? Yeah. And Parker's smiling.
I think you talked about this on our very first call.
Oh, I did. Okay, so 14 days ago. Well, I'll finish off.
It's good. I mean, it's good to talk about
go
it
ahead.
again. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So one of the other monks goes and tells the Buddha and says, "This guy's overdoing it." The Buddha comes along and says to the monk who's injured, "You used to play the veena, did you not?" And the veena is a stringed instrument, right? And the Buddha says to the monk, when strings of your vina were too loose, was your instrument in tune and playable? The monk said, nope. The Buddha said, when the strings of your vina were too tight, was your instrument in tune and playable? The monk said, nope. The Buddha said, when the strings of your vina were not too loose and not too tight, but just right, was the instrument in tune and playable? And the monk said, yup. And that's right effort.
Yeah.
Now, there's investigation for us to do to find out what that right tuning is, which is exactly what you're describing, Ryan, right?
Yeah.
You've experimented long and you've found there's this sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's going to be different
No,
for everybody. Go on.
Yeah. No, I've experimented long. I still haven't found the sweet spot.
You're closer now than you were before.
No, I know exactly what it is, but I haven't found it or taken it.
You know what it is,
I
but
think that's what we know in life. No, we know exactly. Yeah. I think that the answers are always clear. No, so with at least almost always clear. So at least with most of these things, we know what the answer is with whatever we do with sugar, with unsolicited advice, with honesty and all that. It's up to us to take it.
I think I get what you're saying. I agree that it's easy to conceptually understand and have an idea, conceptually grasp it, but to imbibe it in your reality and kind of integrate into your being is difficult. And then if we achieve it, then the question becomes, are we going to be able to maintain it? And that's where present focused meditation or bringing our attention back to the present moment is so important, because you don't have to maintain. It's only about just now, which helps, right? Because it takes that anxiety away from, oh my God, I have to keep doing this over and over again. Otherwise, you're a bad boy or a girl.
You got it.
Right?
Only have to do it once.
Yeah.
And as we become more skillful, there's less and less doing anyway.
Yeah, because that becomes automatic. Yeah.
Dhammarato.
Yeah, less forceful. I mean, the doing is still there, but it's like the mind likes it and it's doing it by itself. You're not like forcing it into doing it.
Yeah.
Right. Dhammarato talks wonderfully about practice, performance, and play. He says that the learning musician, first of all, practices, and this is a very regimented, a very kind of deliberate process, usually involving distraction-free time. And then that musician reaches a level of proficiency where they're ready to go out and perform. And now there might be some distractions in the environment, but they've reached a level of proficiency where they can still do what they got to do. And then the final level is play. And Dhammarato used Louis Armstrong as the example, who was just at play. He wasn't really performing. He was playing. He was joyful. Easy. Comes to the level where it's easy. And then there's that right effort appears to be self-sustaining. Or perhaps it's that the correct frequency is what's natural, and that our slackness or our looseness is what's unusual.
Yeah. It's similar to what Ryan said. It's like your baseline changes. So what used to be effortful now becomes your baseline.
Right, especially if and when you gather evidence that actually things are good.
Right, yeah.
When you're at that correct frequency.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Chinese principle called Wu Wei.
Tell us about it.
Which is Wu is non without negative, and way is action and doing. So it's effortless action. But a different translation is non-forcing. So it's when you completely let go of trying, and when you don't try to do anything, but nothing is left undone.
Right. That's beautiful.
Ajahn
And
Chah, he's from the Tibetan forest monk tradition. He used the term, I thought it was a beautiful term, still running water.
Mhm.
Wow.
Not the Tibet. Like,
Yeah, Thai. Thai.
It's not Tibetan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ajahn Chah, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, lovely. And Dhammarato expresses it as nowhere to go and nothing to do. Spring comes and the grass grows by itself.
Yeah, I asked Damarat about it, and he about the translation. He said it's action without action. It's a little bit interesting. It's like doing without making karma, like without entangling the mind in the world. Like the mind is acting, but it's free from the world, and it's actually difficult to achieve. I mean, we talk about it as something very simple, but it's if we dig up into our intentions, it's not so easy. I mean, we can get close, but to really do it, to do action without action, it's quite difficult. Actually, we can get close, but still. Not quite
Well, you're describing the quandary that so many of us begin our practice in, isn't it, Muhammad? Is how do I relax? How do I relax? The paradox being that relaxing isn't a doing,
Yeah, it's undoing.
right?
No, it's undoing.
It's like
Yeah.
trying to sleep.
Trying to sleep, right? Yeah. Has that ever worked for anyone?
No.
Yeah, doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're so conditioned to doing, to trying, to action that we end up completely lost, feeling
Yeah,
that
it's so entangling. It's so stressed, like wanting
Yeah.
to do it. I'm trying to do it.
yeah. And so of course, hey, I've got a problem, which is that I'm doing too much. Tell me what to do.
It's
Yeah.
like adding relax to your to-do list, eh?
Say again, Jeff.
Adding relax to the bottom of your to-do list.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I did that. I did that. I scheduled time to relax on my little to-do app. Yeah, you've done that, Ryan. Yeah. Yeah.
Something similar is I did relax. Now I need to be calm and happy. I did relax.
Right,
I did
right.
the doing, so I need to be happy. Or I took a breath. Now I need to be happy. But people forget it's not that. It's not a you do now and you get the reward later. It's that process focus, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think what I'm now realizing is peace is the goal. The peace has to be as a baseline, and play also has to be a baseline. So even all these and relaxation. So all these things that I want to do should have play as an element in it. The only two things that don't have play that require forcing in my life might be this one high priority project that I need to complete, which I thought just do one higher priority project for 3 months at a time, and exercise, because exercise sometimes you need to force yourself to do it.
Yeah.
But the exercise is important for everything else to run like clockwork.
You could say the goal is to stop setting any goals.
That would be
Well,
Yes.
and indeed, isn't it interesting when we start to consider what happens when I stop setting goals?
I mean, you can get lost. Possible.
Sorry, Mohammed.
I mean, you asked what can happen. I told you can get lost when you stop setting goals.
You can get lost. Well, lost in what way?
And your desires, the defilements of the mind, they push you everywhere, and you don't have a goal. You don't have roadmap and you're lost.
Well,
You
the
don't-
goal is to stop setting goals, so you have that roadmap.
Well, you follow your desires and
So
that's it. You're lost. I mean, you don't have a goal, but you're wandering around without a goal. It's the same, isn't it?
Well,
You
we're
can
in some
fall in
interesting territory
dullness.
now. Go ahead, Eric.
You can fall in dullness.
You could.
Mhm.
I finished my bachelor's in 2016,
Mhm.
and I was telling some of you guys earlier that I live in a house in which I rent rooms. So but I've been working for 2 years, but before that, I was pretty much in permanent vacation because I wanted to give myself some time without setting goals.
Mm.
And it's part of a process because on one hand, it's just that you're left to your own devices and you cannot blame anyone for your failures or anything. And it's on one hand a clearer perspective, but I also agree with Mohammed because um, if you're not disciplined enough, you can develop unhealthy habits. For example, regarding laziness, or I know that it's my capitalist mind speaking right now, but it does have its unhealthy side in which you indulge too much in your immediate possibilities. Let's say, for example, junk food or watching too many series and stuff. And I felt the difference on my baseline when I let go. Uh, and I'm not like disciplined or healthy, and it's just bad vibrations in the body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not like
Yeah.
being damned, but it's just a heavy feeling. And now I was on a laziness streak for a week now, and I've been doing like yoga and meditating and yeah, my healthy stuff for 3 days, and I already feel like top notch.
It's better. Yeah,
That-
it's better. I mean, it's really simple. If we say, I don't have a goal, it's very simple. Just ask yourself, what is there? What is present? I mean, ask your mind, ask yourself, what is there? Okay, I don't have a goal. What's in my mind? And you will see all these defilements, all the laziness, all the bad habits. They're still there, and you did not get rid of them, and you don't have like anything like to keep you moving to remove them. And the goal is really simple. Just remove the defilements. Really, it's not like a big goal in itself. It's a practice. Go ahead then.
Do you want to say something?
So I think we're maybe engaged in a little bit of semantics around the word goal. I think that Mohammed, you're using the word goal to mean practice-oriented goals, right?
Yeah.
If we can call Sati a goal, then sure. The kind of goals that rely upon the future
Yeah, that's the
might
wrong.
be worth making a distinction about,
Yeah.
right? If I, then I will.
Can I add to that?
Sure.
I think when we talk about goals, I think we need to keep in mind two things. First is there is a relational being. You have to live in a world. You have to earn money. You have to do the needful. So in that sense, it may be useful to set some goals, but we also have to keep in mind that we take everything lightly, which is like if we focus unnecessarily on the goal and we kind of be the critical parent where we are obsessing about the goal and we are kind of criticizing, shaming, blaming ourselves if we cannot achieve it to our expectation, then it can be harmful. But again, it comes down to moderation. So momentarily, it may seem no goal is suitable for a person who is being really tough on themselves.
Mhm.
But like Eric said, after a period of time, setting some goals can be useful to you.
If you want to achieve something,
Yeah.
you're probably going to need a goal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But what we're interested in is practice is, of course, dissolving or becoming free from that which would take us toward instant gratification in the first place, or would take us toward unhealthy,
So,
unwholesome.
so you're talking about
That keeps going on and keeps on repeating.
Oh, I heard two comments at once. Go ahead, Debbie.
I said, are you talking about the preliminary practices then?
I wasn't thinking about preliminary practices.
Like getting your mind fit to work, whereas, kind of getting yourself into a position where you can proceed towards a higher level of spiritual attainment, like no goal. A person who's massively unhealthy and doesn't have the right views on point is not likely going to benefit from no goal and all of that, because at that point, for that person, the goal is to learn the right views. Do you know what I mean? Once he's got that, he can proceed towards a more sophisticated goal, which may be no goal. Am I making sense?
You are,
Yeah.
to me at least.
Yeah.
Is everyone following? Yeah.
You could
The second part, I didn't really get it. The second part.
Okay. Could you present it a bit better?
I don't think so. No, I think that person who needs to hear those right views might, for example, get a hold of Dhammarato and be able to hear pretty early on that we want to come out of goal orientation.
Right. No, but see, you're now talking about goal orientation.
Right.
That's a different thing from goals.
So we're kind of in semantics again. Yeah. So it's worth untangling.
Yeah.
This stuff. Yeah. Where we could bring another word in, attachment.
Yeah.
Right. Where it's that if we're attached to goals, as you said, beating ourselves up if we don't do X, Y, or Z, then we're in trouble. But indeed, then another way of looking at goals is get a glass of water, you've got a goal.
Right. Yeah, and that's the relational being, right? The physical, the one that keeps us alive.
If you want to make a dharma call, you've got a goal.
Yeah.
You could look at this as the difference between wisdom and fear. And you can set up your situation, you can set up your environment in a wise way where you have a meal every day. So you don't have that thought of, or so you free yourself from that position of wanting to eat, and it's just kind of there for you.
Right.
In the same sense, you can orient yourselves or put yourself in a situation where you're hanging out with people in the Dhamma or noble people, so you don't have to fear the dangers that might, say, come from acquainting yourself with people at the bar.
Right.
Yeah.
This is similar to what I was trying to get at. You put it nicely. Thank you, Parker.
Good. Mohammed, you had a comment a little while back. Is it still around?
About goals, no, but I have a comment right now. I think it's good to remind ourselves that the goal of the practice really is the end. There is no goal after it, so it's really the end. Other paths, they lead to something else. They lead to the next. They lead to something more. They're entangled in time. There's always something in the future. But the practice, it gives it an end. It stops. The mind stops creating these things. It stops creating suffering. And it's a goal. It's a good goal. I mean, it's not like something that's going to entangle us. It's liberating. The goal is to be free. And once you're free, you don't need the goal anymore. You just, okay, I'm free. I've done it.
Yes. Even there, we have to be kind of careful that when we're sat in meditation, we're not craving something. I have the goal of being free.
Yeah.
Let me get free. Let me get free. Right?
Yeah, as you said before, like the goal of the practice. Okay, I'm going to establish my mindfulness right now. I'm going to be present. I'm going to get rid of the defilements. It's a small goal. I mean, you do it momentarily, as you said. It's just the practice.
That's what we could call a wholesome goal.
Yeah.
A way to put it without referencing goals is like, for example, right now I can identify a place within me that has the state of mind that I'm trying to maintain, and like if the mind were always feeding on something with the attention, I'm just preferring or choosing to feed off of this, which is noble, healthy, and will keep me in a good state of mind.
Yeah. So that's your goal.
And so we're talking about the karma that ends karma. Yeah. The doing that ends doing, the action that ends action. Now,
I think it's really hard to get outside this mindset of goals, because even the goal of no goal, you're aiming for a goal of no goal, and it's like you were saying, it's that the standard of goals keeps increasing, and so we're always, and even after we reach the end goal, there'll always be something. I need to stay on the eightfold path. I need to be kind. I need to be compassionate. And
when you're there, you don't need it. That's it. When you're there, you really don't need it. You say, okay, I'm here. You don't need it. You don't, okay, I need something next. Like the whole thinking is backwards. When you're free, you don't need something more. I mean, you want.
I think that's the point I'm trying to move towards, is that need point. I think the goals are good, but the goals should come not from a place of grasping, but from a place of freedom. It's that's the flow.
So the word would be attachment, right?
Yeah.
There may be games to be played or toys to be played with, rather than things to be acquired or things to achieve.
It makes a point.
So the insight that I'm getting now is I need to put the work in. I need to put the practice in so I can perform. So later I can play, and the play is the freedom. But right now I need to do the meditation.
But we were speaking
to be at peace. Yeah.
But we were speaking, weren't we, about making your practice the practice of enjoying this.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the practice.
That's the absolute best way to get there. That's the absolute best way to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so everything is play, where everything.
The practice becomes the completion of the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's the sutta where I don't know if it's a sutta, but the Buddha, he asked people what is right mindfulness. I mean, how many times do you reflect on death? One person said I reflect on death once a day. Another one said twice a day. And there's another one who said I reflect on it each breath. I reflect on it. And the Buddha said,
what did he say?
Mohammed's keeping us waiting for the punchline. We lost you, Mohammed.
Yeah, but I think you got like the point.
Yeah.
No, we didn't get the point. We didn't hear it.
Like you establish your mindfulness at every moment, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Just pay attention, and that's it.
The punchline, Ryan, is that the Buddha said that the monk who was concerned or interested in every breath was the monk that had right attitude.
Just this present moment. Just don't make a goal in the future. I'm going to do right now meditation, and in the future I'm going to have. No, it's not like that. Just in this present moment. Investigate your mind in this present moment. What are you doing? Because the mind is always constantly making a lot of things. You don't see them. It needs investigation, needs mindfulness, needs concentration. Just see in the present moment. Dig it. See inside it. And that's
I like the word seeing, because sometimes when we think we are going to meditate now for being better in the future, we can blindside ourselves. But clear seeing would be, oh wait, I'm thinking about the future, and then redirecting ourselves into, hey, I am wise, happy, healthy right now, so let's celebrate.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeff, you had a comment.
I think Mohammed had made a good point, a good distinction in that. And that goals may be necessary, especially in the worldly world, but that once you embody something, you don't need the goal anymore because you've attained it. It's just there. It's in you. And so this goal setting mechanism can be turned off.
Yeah. To actually, that's the correct way to think about it, is that something has ceased. Rather than that we've gained something, we've lost something.
Yeah.
Or something has ceased is the most accurate way to put it. A mental process with which we were so familiar, seeking, craving, clinging, has ceased.
Mm-hmm.
But Debbie also mentioned something about when you attain it, you have to maintain it.
Yeah.
And I think a dangerous thing about thinking that I made it is that I've seen cases of many spiritual masters, not necessarily in the Buddhist tradition, that start off like having good values and benefiting their community, and then they they believe everything their followers say to them, and they inflate their ego and have disastrous lives because they don't. How is this possible? How can I be doing something bad if I've already attained it?
That's where clear seeing comes in, and definitely I think Dhammarato is very keen on this, which is repetition. So, somebody who's very enlightened can also benefit from a Dharma talk, from a refresher course. It's almost like remind your brain of all the right attitudes, the right speech and everything, so that ego state doesn't kick in and you are on your path. But it's a very playful way to be there, right? You're not putting as much anymore. You're just playing with your present success,
Well, Parker was talking earlier, weren't you, about just arranging things such that you hang out with the Sangha.
Yeah.
You have your food is taken care of. Those 4 requisites that the Buddha spoke about, they're all taken care of. Bhikkhu Buddha Dasa added in time structuring
okay.
to those 4 requisites, so that you're ticking along, so to speak, without any need to consider the question, am I on the path?
Right. So your goal is, so in that sense, you don't have a goal of maintaining that state, you just maintain. And that's the playful quality.
And we can always kind of drop the no self card, but right, at some point there's no you around to maintain anything anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like floating.
Mm-hmm.
They're just skills, right?
Yeah, so then again, we had that image earlier, didn't we, of practice, performance, play.
Mm-hmm.
It's playing.
Yeah.
It's playing. How to like?
It's just useful to have a goal. I think the ultimate goal of everyone is to be happy, right? I mean, who doesn't want to be happy? I mean, even people who don't want to be happy, they see their happiness in not being happy, right?
Yes.
So our goal is the true happiness, to be truly happy.
Yeah, that's a nice place to substitute in the word satisfaction, right? Because then we can take the image of the evil dictator doing all these terrible things, and you can say, well, happiness isn't really so much on that guy's agenda in terms of like smiley, right? But they're definitely seeking satisfaction.
I think satisfaction is a more sophisticated word. We can say pleasure. So pleasure, yeah. It's the thing that you said is almost similar as taking drugs.
I don't know, right? Because, well, I think we're in semantics again.
Well, if we talk about pleasure, there are people, they hurt themselves, you know, self-mutilating. They want pain. They don't want pleasure. They find their happiness in pain. They don't find their happiness in pleasure. So like the ultimate goal is kind of happiness, but people seek it in different ways. And people, they get lost because they don't know what is true happiness. And the Buddha is teaching us what is true happiness, and this is the way to reach it. This is it. The true happiness is the peaceful mind, the natural mind. It's not the pleasure or the pain. There are two wrong ways of getting happiness. They're not the true ones. The true happiness is the peace, the knowing that doesn't get affected by all those things, and like sets the mind in the right way. That's,
And also, I also feel that pain and pleasure can often be the same thing. The pain can turn to pleasure. The pleasure can turn to pain.
Yeah.
And then when we take it a step up, then we get into joy and bliss. And you don't get joy and bliss just like that. You need to work at it, whether in terms of meditation or concentrating on the breath or play. Because see, I feel with pleasure you can cheat and get it. You can cheat and get the pleasure with drugs and food and etc. Joy and bliss, you don't get it unless you do one thing, which might be like Bruce Lee, is one does not add but one removes. The art of cultivation is simplicity. So it's about subtracting, not adding. So that's the work we need to do, and it's not easy.
I think we can substitute the word work. I think we can use the word deliberation instead of work. I think that's what Ryan means, to be deliberate about it, to have clear insight, awareness, and deliberately choose a more wholesome path rather than, you know, go ahead and get I don't know, or get some drugs or harm yourself, right?
Yeah. But also, I think, see, it can be, you can say it can be easy, it can be playful.
Yes.
But how many hours did you take to put the work in to get here?
Well, that's the thing. We've all been throwing so much gratitude at Dhammarato these past couple of weeks for specifically this tweak to the practice, that it is indeed about having nice wholesome moment after nice wholesome moment, such that it doesn't feel like work, doesn't feel like effort in that. What we've had the conversation about, right effort, right?
Yeah, I know, because see, there's two goals, there's two ways to do things. One way it can feel like self-love.
Yes.
The other way can feel like punishment.
Yes.
Way of the warrior.
Yeah.
I was reminded earlier of the Zen folks who were very good at when we were back in the goal is to have no goals, right? Desiring not to desire. So what the Zen teachers would do is the student would come and say the world is flat, and so the Zen teacher says, show me the edge. And so what the Zen teacher would do is have the fool persist in his folly.
Yeah.
Right? And now, not suggesting that it's necessarily the best way to go, because, you know, in Japanese culture, you have all these awful tales of suicide, and that monks were on the verge of suicide, often in these Zen tales, with just that koan burning a hole in their pocket. Right?
Yeah.
And so quite different to how we do things, because it sounds quite unpleasant the way they say it very often. But I like that quality of having a fool persist in his folly, to show the student in the student's direct experience
Yeah.
that the whole thing breaks down in the end. The whole thing breaks down. Of course, we can't desire not to desire. And so it just becomes absurd.
Yeah.
It becomes absurd, and then you relax once you can see the cosmic joke.
Yeah. Speak to me more about this wholesome enjoyment.
So wholesome is very similar to what we were speaking about on the phone, the two of us, Ryan.
Yeah.
We were speaking, weren't we, about the various sitting techniques and how the technique of feeling good right now for the sake of right now is the practice. It's all we ever need. If we can sit and do nothing and be satisfied, that's the whole show. Game over. And so immediately what most folks will say is, well, I can do it sometimes, but not all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
That's
how
why
about now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
the thing is,
go ahead, Mohammed.
yeah, the thing is, doing nothing is tricky because it's I mean it's impossible to sit and really do nothing. Like the mind does nothing. It's impossible.
Sure.
To prove that, for example, you're sitting and the bomb, I don't know, the bomb just explodes. You're gonna freak out. There's a stream in your mind that's still there. That's in a fight or flight mode. It's going on. That stream of your mind is going on. You're not paying attention to it, but it is created. So to say the mind that does nothing is the goal. Like the ultimate goal is to have the mind that it stops, does nothing, just observes. When a bomb explodes, just sees it. Okay, bomb exploded. It doesn't react to it. But yeah, I mean the practice is to be sensitive to this stuff, to be sensitive to these streams of the mind, like these like wires, electric wires or whatever, of the mind that go outwards, that go towards the world. And you can shut them down. You can shut them down. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about these things. I don't have to worry about the future. I don't have to worry about this body. Just can stay with the breath inside the body, like the body outside. No, like the body inside, how it feels. And you can enjoy it. You can enjoy the breath, being with the breath. You don't have to enjoy outside things. Just enjoy your body inside and the breath in it. You can enjoy it. It's free.
Yeah, what you just said used to be so confusing to me. So when Danny first told me that you can stop whatever is going on in your head, I was like, mind you, this is the time when I was doing my dissertation on cognition, right? I was like, how can you stop attention? How can you stop like any of the cognitive processes that are going on, you know? And then I realized it's not that. That is all already going on and you can't possibly stop it. What we can stop is elaborating on it. Like you said, if there's a bomb goes off beside you, we can see what it is rather than being terrified about our lives and panicking and doing all of that extra stuff that comes with the flight and fight. Instead, we can watch the bomb go off and take a rational, deliberate decision. Am I going to leave the house or not? Right? Instead of being swayed by our automatic processing, that flight or fright, we can be more deliberate about it.
Well, the common advice, isn't it, is to remain calm in a crisis.
Yeah.
We're just better off.
Because you can think properly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better to say you are in charge of your thinking and your thinking is not in charge of you. So that's what you do.
It probably also relates to the fourth jhana of perfect equanimity a little bit. When you have like perfect equanimity, you can get be with whatever that it is, and you don't get ticked around. And this is a good practice of equanimity. When you practice being okay with anything. For example, if you have pain in the body, you can just try to be equanimous. Right? Don't get affected by these things. Your mind is centered still. you can do mindfulness more. Like you can see more stuff when your mind is centered. You can really see more clearly. You can investigate more better.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, absolutely.
How wonderful.
Yeah. What's most trippy about all of this is that we are using our brain to analyze our brain. Yeah, it's a bit
Yeah, we're
crazy.
using our minds.
It is crazy, and none of us have ever seen one.
I have.
You have? Did you do a dissection?
What?
Have you dissected a brain?
A brain?
Yeah.
No, I saw a model of it and
Okay.
a real one in a jar.
Brain in a jar. Ryan, have you ever seen a brain?
Yeah. I've seen a
Yeah.
brain. I've eaten one too.
You've eaten one.
Yeah, I mean not a human brain.
Hannibal over here.
No, yeah. So so no, but see, I feel that we might be saying that we're using a brain to understand the brain, but on some level we are connecting to the source energy, and we're getting insights from source as we are connecting with the hive mind, no? And I think that's what's happening over here. That there's a hive mind happening that's teaching us how to grow.
A hive mind.
Very similar to what Jung called the archetypes, which is like a collective. It's similar to a collective consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, say, a kid. How does a kid know what a mother is? So when you say mother, it will have an image in its head already. Or so those are the lessons that a kid doesn't have to deliberately learn, but it's almost programmed in its gene, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, Ryan is right. When we talk about all of these things, when we engage in such wholesome, stimulating conversation, we may be hacking that part of the brain which already knows all of this, right?
Yeah. This is one of the huge benefits of Sangha is confirmation.
Yeah.
We confirm for one another
Mm-hmm.
that this is the way things are. Who was it that mentioned, I think it might have been you, Parker, the danger of hanging out with friends at the bar?
Yeah.
Well, look, hanging out at the bar is fun, and I'm sure we've all got some wonderful friends who like to hang out at the bar, but they're not going to confirm for us the benefit of, well, maybe they will, but perhaps less often.
In a different way, maybe.
In a different way, yeah.
Perhaps you won't understand their slurred speech.
Perhaps not. Perhaps not. And it's, I think if we're at the bar, certainly on a Friday or a Saturday night and things are kicking off, we're very much in that realm of, let me do something that makes me feel good now.
Immediate gratification.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ignore the consequences, even though I know they go together.
Yeah.
Because that's the best shot I've got.
That's why the image of, having a drink after a hard day's work is so appropriate, because people are tired and they have so less resource to be deliberate and generate that joy and happiness through wholesome means. So it's very easy and tempting for people at that time, when they're really exhausted and tired, to seek immediate gratification, because it's less work, it's less deliberation. You can switch off and sip on your wine, and that's going to give you some sort of happiness.
Yeah, I was listening to a Dhammarato talk last night. I think it was posted today, about philosophy and the Dhamma and how they differ. And Dhammarato mentioned that part of the rise of philosophy and even Western Buddhism is kind of the realization of that maybe climbing the mountain of the mind isn't as easy as one might have first thought, or it's not a super easy task. Like it's a task to be done. So instead of going for that experiential, we go for the didactic, the conceptualized thinking of modern day philosophy and Buddhism, where we're all in concepts rather than in the present moment, just enjoying how things are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, you said it accurately. Philosophy can be correlated to conceptualizing, a lot of conceptualizing rather than integrating it into our being. And
where old philosophy and ancient philosophy and Buddhism, they were both about the experiential, although it's changed over time.
That's interesting because, so we often think these teachings are so nice and they are effective. So why do the monks have to go through these crazy rituals, right? All those things, the strictness about posture and all of that. It is true that our body and mind are connected, and those kind of behavioral measures can and do influence our mental state. But at the same time, we have to be mindful that those were particularly designed for a particular context, a particular group of people. And obviously, the time difference is there. So we
don't need to think of them as rules. We can think of them as like things to be played with. Good advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like what?
Like Debbie was talking about posture. We can we don't have to be like I need to be sitting in crisscross posture, or it's bad, or I need to feel bad. We can rather think that this is some good advice someone gave from a certain time, and we can examine it in this time now and inspect the body, and why might this posture be better than sitting down or lying on our backs or our chests or something like that. Maybe it gives more breathing ability or something, or more stability.
Right. And let's find out for ourselves.
Let's find out. Yeah. Exactly.
So the attitude of experimentation comes in. Yeah. That's what we want.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, guys, this seems like a good time to wrap. We're both tired.
This is really great.
Oh,
thanks, Danny.
Brilliant. Thank you.
So great. Really great to be with you all. And do pop up throughout the week as well. If I don't hear from any of you, then I'll call again next week.
Cheers. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you as always.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.
See you next time.
Yeah.